Oh, my man Emmanuel Acho, my dog. And Van Lathan, my dog too. Like both my dogs. Let me explain this. Obviously, y'all know I know Acho from working with him. And a lot of people want me to hate Acho. I can't, dog. I disagree with him. I don't have beef with him. And like I told y'all last episode, I shouldn't have called that beef, that whole episode or that segment. Because I think beef is you just got a disagreement with somebody. But people say, no, beef is like you trying to pull the strap out. I'm like, hell no. Y'all know me. I don't fight with anybody. No beefs. Just issues at times. But I guess y'all don't want to see that. Marcellus has issues at times with co-hosts. Anyway, love Acho, love Van Lathan. So Acho, I've known him before the show. Just let y'all know that again. Also, Van Lathan, before TMZ, before telling Kanye and reading him his rights. Come on, man. You know what it was? Van Lathan used to call our show, Max and Marcellus, got my information, stayed in touch with me. This is when I don't think he's doing any media. This is how I let y'all know I got a big heart. I got a real big heart, y'all. He just texted me, he called me, and he just want to talk. Then he got on TMZ, and we still broke bread like that. And everybody knows Van, knows me. We on different sides on more than one issue. Let's just say that, right? He always be clowning me. He'd be like, yo, Republican ass. I'd be like, man, I ain't no Republican. Andrew Yang gang. How am I a Republican? How am I a Democrat? Have I voted Republican before? Hell yeah. Have I voted Democrat before? Hell yeah. I'm a Demopublican. Demopublican. I don't know what I am. Point being, that's my dog. Even in disagreement. Told y'all we in the locker room. We gonna disagree and still love each other. But they should have had this interview. Did y'all see this interview with Acho and Van Lathan on Higher Learning, Van Lathan's podcast, with his co-host? And oh man, she gonna hate me. I've been hitting the head. I do not know her name, and I can Google it. But this is a podcast. But she was there as well. She was on The View, so she big time. Excuse me. She like, you don't know me. Anyway, they went at it. Van came in there loaded like Shannon was loaded on the Memphis Grizzlies. Like, yeah, Acho. I want all the smoke. I've been talking about you, not in glowing fashion, when you're not here. You're here now. Let me keep that same energy and talk about you the same way. So it starts off immediately. Like, it's fascinating to me because I know both people. Like, I've been to both of those guys' events and houses. Like, I know them, right? They've been to my functions, been to my crib, like family, right? I'm like, damn, this is going to be fun. It's fascinating, right? And immediately they asked Acho about what I've said about Acho. And Acho, he didn't take the high road. That's just what Acho's response was. Now, if y'all want us to sully each other, I'm sure Acho has some things about me he doesn't like. He's told me some things before. And I got my things, right? But man, that dude made me feel good. He was like, man, Marcellus is a winner, dog. He going to win at whatever he wants to do. But it was just funny because that was the first place they started. And Acho didn't know everything I was thinking and going through, duh. Like I didn't know everything he was thinking and going through, duh. But we obviously know some of the things, and we expressed that, and he expressed that. But that was just that lead-in question that I usually hate, but since it was about me, I liked it. But this time, it was funny because Acho took the high road. No drama so far. But then they start talking about them uncomfortable conversations with a black man. And it got ugly. It got realer than real. Because Van is the type that has receipts. Like Van has one of those hell of a good recalls. Acho does as well. But Acho will recall the entire incident, but only want to talk about the good things. Because he's raised that way. Because he's got that kind of mindset and spirit. And that's good. But that ain't everybody. Van, like, look, we're going to go through the good and the bad. Van and I did his podcast about Colin Kaepernick years ago in the heat of that. And we went at it. And then we broke bread. Saw him after it. Like, no issue. I just don't think that Acho and Van are going to break bread after this. That was, whoo. Acho almost, he didn't quit. Acho was like, this is a waste of my time. And I quote, this is a waste of my time. Acho felt ambushed. Acho felt like, dog, why you got all these receipts about stuff you don't like about me, but then invite me on here just to read me my rights and reprimand me? But that's the call of duty. One thing I got to say is like, I would never go on anyone's podcast, TV show, whatever, and then say what they can and can't ask if I didn't already agree on that. And frankly, I'm an open book. I'm an open book. But some of these guys got bigger brands and want to protect their brands, whether they're bigger or not. They just don't want to go some places. I'll go anywhere with you, whatever. But that's just me. Acho was like, dude, what's this? And Van was going in. All right, here's my issue with uncomfortable conversations with a black man. Acho said it. Acho was first generation Nigerian American. Van said it, but he kind of danced a little bit. He apologized a lot to Acho because that's one thing. Van has a big heart too. No matter how gangster Van gets, he still cares. So his apologies were trying to give him a mattress. Like, Acho, don't take this like I hate you. I just hate what you said. And usually you leave it there, but Van has a big heart and thinks Acho was coming from the right place. So he kept apologizing, but then kept slicing them. It's like, what is going on here? Here's the thing. My only issue, because I really didn't watch them all. Acho knows. I ain't watched them. Like, he ain't watching this. Like, you know what I mean? He ain't watching my podcast. I ain't watching his. I did not. I watched clips. Come on, y'all. I got 4 kids. Stop playing. And I'm a black man. I don't need to have any conversations about being me. Like, I'll talk to y'all about life, but I'm a black man. I get it. Acho, being a Nigerian American, first generation, couldn't talk to what black men like me knew and understood and had to experience growing up. Simple as that. I hate when people get mad at that. Like, oh, you're questioning his blackness. No, I'm saying his blackness is different. I'm not saying he ain't black, which we're going to talk about. If he called himself black, I don't even know if he called himself black. He did on that show. And I was like, why are we having uncomfortable conversation with a black man? But then you're not talking to the black man as we know in America. I'm a black man. People call me African American and used to heard Negro. I'm so old, I heard Negro. I didn't like Negro. I just was like, that just, that was cold and that's Spanish and that's black. And I was like, wait a second. I ain't like Negro. It just sounded weird. It sounded too close to the N-word. And I was like, y'all just trying to change a couple letters. Y'all ain't fooling me. So I didn't like being called Negro, but whatever. I always was black. And then we're African American now, but I'm like, I ain't been to Africa. Like, I got white friends at school with my kids that just got back from Africa. And my 48-year-old black self has not been to Africa ever. And being real, I'm not on a mission to go. Like, I don't like traveling. I don't want to. I had to go to Atlanta a couple weeks ago. I didn't want to go to Atlanta. You think I'm trying to go to Africa? People are like, oh, you missing out. Can't miss what you ain't never had, right? So being serious, I've never been to Africa, right? But they call me African American. Always felt weird. I'm like, come on, y'all, miss me. But whatever y'all want to call me, it don't matter. It's all about what I listen to and pay attention to, not what y'all calling me. But I'm a black man. Acho and I ain't the same. We ain't the same. Like, I'm not talking about he couldn't live in a black neighborhood in Dallas and he couldn't go to a black church. Yeah. But when you come home, who you're talking to and in what culture are you talking in? That's the difference. So Acho explained that. He was like, dude, I don't have the generational curses and really the generational weight of slavery on them. Bingo. Like, ta-da. So when I used to hear uncomfortable conversations with a black man, I used to always was like, but why? It should have been an uncomfortable conversation with a Nigerian American, which is different. That's like me going to Nigeria, setting up my locker room and saying uncomfortable conversations with an African American, and I am 61% Nigerian, and then breaking it down to them Nigerians how it is to be Nigerian. Looking at me like, bruh, I get your 61%. I get that you're over here in Africa talking about it. And I get that we have the same skin color. But dog, you don't know these subtleties, these intricacies. You don't know the details. You didn't have to go through it. So I'm tired of being defined by what other people think I am. But you know where they get that audacity? The one drop rule. That negative slave sustained definition of black people, which was white people back in those days did not want an ounce of black in their blood, in their bloodline. So, one drop rule. If you got one drop of black in you, you're black. I don't think you got to be a genius to understand what that was back then. It made sense for the times and conditions. Oh, it was damning, it was hurtful, it was wrong, but that's what they said. They declared it that way. But we are 400 years removed, and we still have not gotten away from the one drop rule. Like, seriously, like, that doesn't give us the freedom to go within, go intra race, intra the black experience, African American experience, however you want to term it, and really give people their proper due, give things their proper respect. I get like envious when I hear someone say, "Oh, well, are you white?" No, I'm French, Italian. What? They got they got designations. They have subcategories that are fully respected. But then in the black culture, oh, we all black. We give Creole a little love. Like we got a little love for the Creole. You can say you Creole. All right, all right, all right. But then we don't go into all of our subtleties and details, including what if you're Dominican or, what if you're Brazilian? Like it can go, right? It can go. But even within black, like Acho's Nigerian American, first generation. I met his parents. Trust me, they ain't my parents. They don't think the same. They ain't do the same. It's not the same culture. But we both black. We got to get detailed in this. So that one drop rule, woo, woo. Because this is what got me in trouble. They say, with Colin Kaepernick. They say, you question his blackness. I say, I ain't question his blackness. I say our blackness is different. That's it, because I don't believe in a one drop rule, right? And if I were mixed, like my wife is, black and white, do you know how proud I would be to be black and how proud I would be to be white? Like, y'all making me choose? I remember when they did that to Tiger Woods. They lit his ass up because Tiger Woods tried to break it down into every single element. They didn't want to hear it. And lit Tiger Woods up. He's like, dog, I got pride and respect. And then he just jumped out. See, this is the difference between me and you. This is the difference between me and everybody. They jump out the game because they're like, yo, I am going to get fatigued in having this conversation, right? Jay-Z did it with Colin Kaepernick. Jay-Z spoke his mind at first. Everybody came back at him. Jay stopped talking about it. He's like, all right. I don't know what it is about me. I'm going to keep talking about it because I know it's wrong, right? I'm not questioning your blackness. Just can we admit we're different? You know what I mean? Not are you, but yes, you are, but different. So we got to get out of that place. And I'll do a lot more on this because it's something that's really deep, really pervasive, that really hurts a lot of us in terms of that expression. But anyway, getting back to Van, getting back to that interview. That interview, woo, I'm trying to get it some publicity because that thing was great. It was uncomfortable for Acho. It was uncomfortable for Van. It was a real uncomfortable conversation with a black man and a Nigerian American. I loved it. Now, Acho, he did well. They were really coming at Acho so hard. And my dog, other than the fact that he wanted to kind of leave the interview, but he didn't. He's just like, look, my publicist wants me to stay, wants to know if I'm gonna stay or go. I'm staying. But to bring that up is mean you're thinking about maybe leaving, right? You don't bring that up in any good interview that you love. But two, dog, this is what they want. This is what you should have wanted. Talk your talk. You know what I mean? Like, don't let him back you in no corner and be like bully ball, because that looked like it was gaslighting. You know what I mean? Look like, oh, look at old arrogant, aggressive Van. I ain't like that part. Acho should have just spoke. Like, dog, all right, you want to smoke today? Let's smoke. Even though he don't smoke or drink. And Van keeps receipts, so it's hard to like argue against Van. Only thing you can argue against Van with is like tone. You know, like, Van, be nice. Like Acho said it, you get more with honey than vinegar. Like, you know, like be nice. But I love all displays of people, man. I love that display. And they talked through it. Acho didn't leave. They talked through it. To me, I didn't, the receipts and stuff, I didn't care. Like, Acho had a platform where Van said it was to emotionally butler white people into feeling good or something. No, Acho had a platform that blew up. It blew up so much he got to co-host the show with me at 29. It blew up, and his conversation was to open and awaken white people to what black people were saying. There are steps to that, right? You don't just go, oh yeah, let me open your eyes. By the way, wow. And I think that if you want the WAP, then it should be uncomfortable conversations with a black man, Van Lathan. They should have figured out how to do a two-part series. Like, here's the A side, here's the B side. And they're both equally the same, but one's going to be sweet, one's going to be sour. We coming for you. But if you haven't checked that interview out, please, please check it out. The micro differences in us, the microaggressions they discuss, blackness, what does it look like? But I think that Van's thesis was, bruh, you ain't black like me. And it was funny to me because I was like, oh, y'all try. Now all of a sudden it's cool to say that somebody ain't black like you. But when I said it about Kaepernick, oh, but my wife is Nigerian and Dutch. So like people thought I was like with some hate. I was like, nah, black and white. I know my wife. I know her family. Good Lord. It ain't the same. It ain't. I couldn't. Man, stop. I ain't. What? I couldn't do any of the stuff that I hear sometimes she talks about. I didn't live into any of that stuff, and vice versa. So check that interview out. We probably have some more conversations on it going forward. But it was riveting. It was necessary, and it was certainly uncomfortable.